This evening, President Ali announced a one-time cash grant for old-age pensioners before the end of this year. Breakfast for Success program officially launched in Region 2. COVID-19 vaccination restriction for entry into Guyana removed. In the region, attack in Mexican town kills 20, including mayor officials, says. And internationally, Thailand, ex-policeman kills 38, including 23 children at a nursery. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. On Thursday, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali announced an additional $28,000 one-off cash grant for each old-age pensioner before the end of this year.
I am pleased this evening to announce the payment of an additional one-off grant of $28,000 to be paid to each and every single old-age pensioner before the end of 2022.
The one-off cash grant will provide an additional $1.8 billion in disposable income to the nation's pensioners. In a special address to the nation, President Ali said this new measure adds to the host of measures, policies, and programs being implemented by the government to improve the lives of senior citizens.
To our senior citizens, I wish to say that the government will continue to respect and honor the service you have given to our country over the years, as we continue to take all the steps necessary to ensure that the quality of life you enjoy continue to improve in every regard.
The president said since taking office, his government has been ensuring the lives of all Guyanese are improved, and in particular, the vulnerable in society and senior citizens. He added that our senior citizens have served the country for which they live for decades. Since the government assumed office in August 2020, the old-age pension was increased from $22,500 to $25,000, and in 2022, from $25,000 to $28,000. In 2021, a one-off cash grant of $25,000 was paid to pensioners. Beyond these measures is the water subsidy, which has benefited over 27,000 old-age pensioners. Moreover, President Ali said several interventions were made to make it easier for pensioners to access their entitlements by providing alternative payment venues. Special arrangements were also made for shut-in residents, including persons living with disabilities and persons who do not have close access to the post office. In addition, the nation's seniors continue to benefit from the across-the-board investments by the government, particularly to improve the public health care system. These include the construction and upgrade of several first-class hospitals and regional health centers, and increased availability of drugs. The head of state is optimistic that the additional support announced by the government will go a far way in helping the pensioners. Two armed robbery suspects from Albistown were remanded to prison when they appeared at the Covent John Magistrates Court on Wednesday, October 5, 2022. 33-year-old Junior Jordan, a laborer of Nonpareil Street, Albistown, and 18-year-old Brandon Robertson of Hunter Street, Albistown, Georgetown, were not required to plead to the charges. The two were arrested and charged with the armed robbery committed on Marlon Reynolds, a 23-year-old soldier. The court heard that on September 29th, the duo, along with another male armed with guns, approached Reynolds in front of his girlfriend's home at Phase 3 Good Hope Access Road in a dark-colored Toyota Vitz motor car. The driver pointed a suspected AK rifle at Reynolds, while another male jumped out from behind the driver's seat and pointed a small handgun at Reynolds and told him not to make a move. They proceeded to relieve the victim of his cell phone and cash totaling some $95,000 and a red and black XR motorcycle CJ4308, property of the Guyana Defense Force. Two of the suspects subsequently escaped in the vehicle, while the third suspect jumped on the motorcycle and made good his escape north along the Phase 3 access road. Following the incident, Robertson was arrested on October 1st and Jordan was arrested on October 3rd. They were both remanded and the matter was adjourned to November 7th for statements. An ambulance attached to the Skeldon Public Hospital in Region 6 was intercepted with a quantity of chicken that was illegally imported into Guyana earlier this morning. According to information received, The ambulance driver was apprehended by the Law Enforcement and Investigation Division of the Guyana Revenue Authority at number 78 Village, Rampur, Upper Quarantine, Berbice. Reports say that the driver is currently being held and helping with inquiries. A security guard is also being questioned. With immediate effect, the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Health, has removed the COVID-19 vaccination requirements for entry into Guyana. In a letter sent to the Civil Aviation Authority, the Chief Medical Officer stated, quote, "The government of Guyana has taken a decision to lift the COVID-19 vaccine requirements for entry into Guyana with immediate effect from October 7, 2022. End of quote. The letter further reminded all travelers to continue to observe the public health measures set out by the Ministry of Health. Travelers had to produce vaccination cards before they were allowed on the plane to travel to Guyana. Earlier in June of this year, the government removed the COVID-19 test requirements for international travelers. The decision followed an evaluation of the number of cases and the availability of COVID-19 vaccines in the country. Stick around after the break. Rams Logistics says GRA charges are baseless, and Breakfast for Success program officially launched in Region 2.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our stores, you're welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. However, Maison Francois is more than just chocolate. We serve lunch, dinner, afternoon tea, and even Sunday morning mimosa brunch. Our convenient location at 133 Thomas Street, Kitty, makes it the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. Treat yourself with the taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. On Thursday, the Minister of Education, Priya Manichan, officially launched the ministry's Edutrition Breakfast for Success program in the Pomeroon Supernam Region 2. Through this program, all the grade 6 children nursery level pupils, and those in grades 1 and 2, and children living in Amerindian communities will now receive breakfast every day at school. During the launch at the Time Manor Primary School on the Essequibo Coast, Minister Manik Chan stated that the program is part of the ministry's plan to ensure every school-age child receives an education. She highlighted that the program builds on the Hot Meals program implemented by the then President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo. The Education Minister also explained that much thought and research went into meal planning so that pupils would get the nutrition they need. She further noted that in addition to easing the burden of some parents and providing breakfast for thousands of pupils, the program also employs persons in the region. Minister Manik Chan reiterated the commitment to improving the lives of children across the country. To date, some 10,700 pupils from 247 primary schools have benefited from the Ministry of Education's EduTrition Breakfast for Success program. Additionally, more than 80,000 children benefit from the National School Feeding Program every single day. The program has also been credited with improving the number of pupils attending schools. Following the revelation by the Guyana Revenue Authority on Wednesday that it has filed 10 charges against Rams Logistics Guyana for false declarations, the company has issued a statement calling the said charges baseless. While these charges will be reviewed and responded to by its lawyers through the court system, Rams categorically stated that every declaration filed with the GRA is in respect to duty-free imports. Rams said there are no taxes or duties applicable on the imports, so there is no loss of revenue to GRA. On July 25, 2022, Rams said its lawyers wrote the GRA responding on why the allegations raised by the GRA had no basis in law and clearly outlined the sections of the Guyana Customs Act that they relied on to form their opinion. 8 weeks later, Rams said GRA responded, but it did not address any of the legal points raised by its lawyers. On September 30, 2022, Rams said it filed for judicial review against the Local Content Secretariat. The body has refused to issue the company a local content certificate. Following this, on October 5th, it said GRA issued press release to say it is filing charges against the company for false declaration. In closing, the statement read that the company has always respected the laws of every country they operated in and have always been transparent in everything they do. They will continue to operate with the highest level of integrity. Rams further stated that it would also continue to be committed to Guyana and hope for a fair and speedy resolution in this situation. As the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit continues in its fight to rid the streets of illegal drugs, they made 2 busts earlier this week. On Tuesday, Canoe officers conducted an operation at Goodfrobactin Public Road on the east coast of Demerara and intercepted a motorcar PXX 3869. A subsequent search of the motor vehicle was conducted in the presence of the driver, 63-year-old Roy Thomas of Atlantic Vale, East Coast Demerara, who was the lone occupant. A further body search was conducted on the driver, which led to the discovery of a quantity of suspected cocaine hidden in the crotch of his pants. Thomas was arrested and escorted to the Canoe headquarters along with the suspected cocaine. The narcotics tested positive for cocaine and had a total weight of 16.8 grams. Investigations are ongoing. Also on Tuesday, Canoe officers conducted an operation at Bagatstown Public Road on the east bank of Demerara, where they intercepted a motorcar HD 1446. A subsequent search of that vehicle conducted in the presence of the occupants, 34-year-old Lachram Pramish of Zeelat, East Bank Essequibo, and 56-year-old Mohammed Persad of Tushin New Housing Scheme, East Bank Essequibo, led to the discovery of 2 brick-like parcels of suspected cocaine. The men were arrested and escorted to the Canoe headquarters with the suspected cocaine. The narcotics tested positive for cocaine and had a total weight of 2.140 kilograms, with a street value of approximately 2.1 million Ghana dollars. Investigations are ongoing. Don't go away after the break. Migrants face deportation as South Africa curbs special permits, and Thailand ex-policeman kills 38, including 23 children at nursery.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold, and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our stores, you're welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. However, Maison Francois is more than just chocolate. We serve lunch, dinner, afternoon tea, and even Sunday morning mimosa brunch. Our convenient location at 133 Thomas Street, Kitty, makes it the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. Treat yourself with the taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hey, this is your fancy vehicle and that is your house?
Yes, this is my vehicle and actually I'm waiting on my land. I'm actually renting this house for $50,000.
$50,000? You head boy, you crazy, you mad, you head no good. Why look, let me show you the light. Come with me.
Come on down to Fabulous Homes today. Pay $50,000 every month for 36 months or until you reach 50% of your house costs. Move in after 75% of the cost has been paid.
This is wonderful. Let's go. Sign me up.
Alright, let me go and dash you your landlord.
To explore our home ownership program, check our Facebook page for more information or come down to our office at Avalon Friendship.
Hey, Chinese, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
You got through?
Yes.
Call us at 227-1380 or 615-8740. Fabulous Homes International Realty, changing tenants into homeowners.
At Fabulous Homes, we bring your dreams to life.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. At least 20 people were killed during an attack in the Mexican state of Guerrero on Wednesday. The mayor of the city and his father, former mayor, are among the dead. The state has seen a rise in violence in the past decade linked to drug cartels. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
A town hall peppered in bullet holes. This is the scene following a violent attack against public officials in the small town of San Miguel, Totolapan. At least 20 people have been confirmed dead after gunmen stormed the local government offices. Among those killed during the attack was the mayor of the town, Conrado Mendoza Almeda. In a tweet, the governor of the Mexican state of Guerrero called for a special investigation and promised to bring those responsible to justice. Mexico's president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, spoke about the attack during his morning press conference on Thursday.
In the case of Totolapan, these organizations that have been around for a long time, they did not emerge during this government, and we're trying to address the causes.
While the state of Guerrero has some of the highest incidences of violent homicide in Mexico, authorities say Wednesday's attack was particularly shocking. The latest violence highlights how there are regions of the country where Mexican security forces are outgunned by criminal groups. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, South Africa has been a magnet for people seeking better economic opportunities or healthcare across the African continent, but calls to ensure jobs and business opportunities go to South Africans are getting louder, and the government is looking to revamp its immigration policies. Al Jazeera's Huru Mutasa reports.
Beverly Quatara moved to South Africa from Zimbabwe more than a decade ago. Her visa allows her to live and work here. That special permit expires in June next year. She fears being deported to Zimbabwe, a country with few jobs and record high inflation. She's also worried about her 14-year-old son.
In terms of his education, is going to be disturbed because the curriculum is not the same. The language-wise, he can speak Shona, but he can't write a sentence. It's going to be very difficult for him to adjust.
South Africa's government is trying to manage an influx of economic migrants. For decades, Africa's most industrialized economy has been a magnet for people seeking better economic opportunities from across the continent and other parts of the world.
We know that people are flocking to South Africa for healthcare in particular because it may not be the best in the world, but it's certainly better than what they're getting now. So we are just saying that we are not anti-anyone. It is not an anti-African agenda. It's not an anti-Asian agenda. It's an agenda of saying, let's prioritize our people.
Around a third of South Africans are jobless. It's causing resentment among some locals who see foreigners as competition for scarce jobs and public services. But not everyone agrees with that view.
I think the blame there is far more reasonably laid at the foot of the government itself, for not maintaining, for not investing in that infrastructure. And I think it is quite a worrying development in our politics that foreign nationals are so easily scapegoated now for government's failures.
Thousands of people from Zimbabwe and Lesotho are legally working or studying in the country. But with special permits being terminated, foreigners now have to prove they have critical skills needed in South Africa. As the country prepares for the 2024 general elections, the presence of undocumented foreign nationals is a divisive issue. Some analysts here say politicians are using this to gain support from frustrated South Africans angry at the high cost of living and rising unemployment. It's putting more pressure on the ANC-led government as calls to ensure jobs and business opportunities go to South Africans first, seemingly growing louder. Huru Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
And finally, Thailand is mourning after a former policeman went on a shooting and knife rampage at a daycare center, killing at least 38 people, including 23 children. Al Jazeera's Tony Train reports.
A row of bodies lined up outside a daycare centre in northeastern Thailand. Ambulances rushed to carry the wounded to local hospitals. The grim aftermath of the worst mass killing in recent Thai history. The children had just settled down for a midday rest when an agitated parent burst in.
He used his feet to kick the window, then he shot at the door. I thought he got inside. I ran to the kitchen behind. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do.
According to the police, in the attack that followed, 22 children and 2 adults were killed.
After inspecting the crime scene, we found that the perpetrator tried to break in, and he mainly used a knife to commit the crime by killing a number of small children, while a few survived.
As the attacker fled, he left a trail of destruction in his wake, taking out anything that got in his way. The main suspect, a former policeman, Panya Kamrab, fired from his job and under trial for drug trafficking. Local hospitals were overwhelmed, dealing with the wounded and the dead. This is a rural area where attacks like these are unknown. As darkness fell, investigators swarmed across the scene, trying to find clues as to what might have led to this murderous rampage. The bodies of the victims are now just flooding into Udon Thani Central Hospital, but the doctors say they're going to work through the night to try and perform the autopsies so the bodies of the victims can be released to their families for funeral rites to begin on Friday. An endless procession of caskets carried aloft by emergency volunteers, a final show of respect. as Thailand tries to come to terms with a massacre that's claimed so many young lives.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Update. We'll be back on Tuesday at 7 p.m. with another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other, and do have a wonderful weekend and happy Yom Kippur.